Another big topic that causes a lot of anxiety and stress for people that's, say, kind of getting to the crisis level is college, how to pay for it, student loans, that type of thing. There's lots of different options out there. Some are better than others. The choice that I use for my 3 kids is called a 529 account. And what this allows you to do is set up a tax sheltered account in the name of the child. I still own it, so if the kid turns into a knucklehead or whatnot, you can change the beneficiary to another kid, your neighbor's kid, your niece, whoever. You deposit money into this account. You can do it on a weekly, monthly, whenever you want basis. The money grows.
And other people can.
Yeah.
And other people can.
Yes, that's the one thing I like about it is so when, grandma, grandpa, aunt, uncle ask, what does Junior want for his birthday, you can respond something I'm not going to step on. And so, how about, maybe something a little smaller and you put some money into their 529 account. Saves you a little bit of money on, could potentially save you some money on your state income taxes in certain circumstances. The money grows tax-free, provided that they use the money for college expenses like, tuition, rent, that type of stuff. So it's a fantastic thing. The key to it is you got to start early. It's not so much as the quantity of money that you have, it's how long. For example, if you save $100 a month for 18 years, so right after the child is born, you start plopping $100 a month in. And you do that for 18 years and you average 8% interest, that's $48,300. So, maybe that doesn't quite cover all of it, but if they get scholarships, do things smart, go to state schools and maybe take a little credits while they're in high school or go to a community college for a year or two to start, they should be, and work while they're in school, they should be able to get through school either debt-free or pretty close to it, rather than, going to either, private schools they can't afford, and, you just don't want to end up with $100, $200, $300, $400,000 in student loans, because then you're never going to leave your parents' basement.
Yeah. Well, and another part to that, so an important part that Brian mentioned was starting early. And it's important that you start early. Now, most of us didn't start early, and so we're starting later. I would still encourage you to go ahead and do it. The reason why is because this type of account is a pretty amazing account. It basically works like a generation skipping trust without having to go through and set up a generation skipping trust. And we'll talk more about that in detail if you ever want to come see me. But otherwise, the 529 is fantastic because you can pass it on. It can continue to grow and you can pass it on for generations to come. It's not something that you have to use all at once. And a lot of times I get that question, well, if I put the money into that account and I don't use it, and then Junior graduates, now what do I do with all that money? Well, if you want, you can take it out. Of course, the IRS would like you to do that because they want to put an excise tax on it. But if you want to leave it in there and then pass it on to Junior so that they own it and then they can use it for your grandkids, you can do that. There's a lot of things you can do.
Absolutely. So one of the other options, one of the other really important things that when you're helping kids with, what to go to school, where to go to school, is you want to look at like the career path that they've selected, make sure it fits with their strengths, and then also make sure it makes sense to spend that amount of money on the school. So, if I'm going to, let's say get into childhood education, early childhood development or something like that, you're probably going to start, right now your starting salary is probably $25,000 to $40,000 in the Midwest. So it probably doesn't make a whole lot of sense to go to Stanford, where it's going to cost you $50,000, $60,000 a year to do that, especially if you are taking on debt for it. So it just, the numbers just don't make, the return on investment just doesn't make sense. So Jeff, you have a question?
If I have a 529 account and my child decides not to go to college, can that money be used for a trade school or something along those lines?
Great question, absolutely, yeah. The IRS has some guidelines that the school has to have certain accreditations, but yes, in the vast majority of cases, you know, junior college, community college, technical college, trade schools, you know, the lion's share of schools in the United States would all apply. And that's the advantage of it, is like, you know, if you start the account in Kansas, you know, they can use it in any state. As where, you know, couple of the other options would be like prepaid tuition. Well, then you're basically, you know, if you started a prepaid tuition program in Florida, you better hope that kid wants to go to school in Florida, because it does not transfer. And then also your rate of return on that is basically going to be whatever the rate of inflation on the school is. So in the 529 accounts, you can select your own mutual funds, and we can help you do that. So, and generally speaking, you're going to do much better with the mutual fund investments than you're going to be with just the rate of inflation. So